Excuse me, guys. There you go. Assume the position, sir.
All right. Okay, thank you. Good to see everybody here tonight. Missed a lot of you guys last week. Missed my big story. I exposed a lot of things, but anyway, that's another time. Before I get started, I want to say that I have a little news to report. 3 weeks ago, I did a story, number 11, about someone at my high school, and I changed his name to protect the innocent and the guilty. And I named him Red White. I have since learned that 8 days after I told the story, Red White died. Except it wasn't the guy that I was talking about, because the guy I was talking about was already dead. But there was someone back home who, with the same name, died, and just thought that was kind of weird. So just if anybody hears this story out there, my condolences to the White family, and if you heard that I was talking trash about your guy Red, it was another one. So tonight is story number 13, and a little sidebar. I have a kind of short story tonight. A little sidebar. Back in October, I had surgery, nothing major, like hernia operation, and I was at the, like I said, this is story number 13, and I'm not superstitious or anything, but I had surgery, right? And I was at the hospital, and I was noticing as I was, waiting for, my surgery, sitting there in my gown, along with all the other people who were waiting for their operations, and I noticed the lockers where we kept our clothes. And I counted the lockers, or I noticed how many there were. There were 23 lockers. I don't know why there was such an odd number. But anyway, it seems that the hospital decided that no one would want locker number 13 because, that's the unlucky number, and you wouldn't want to have surgery if you had locker 13 because, the doctor might accidentally castrate you or something, so what they did was, you see the lockers, and there's like locker number 9, and then 10, and 11, and 12, and 24, and 14, and so on. In other words, they took a piece of paper and wrote another number and taped it over top of the 13. And I was just wondering, does that actually take the curse off? Do the gods up there that decide, who gets bad luck or something, they can't see the number underneath there? I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Anyway, all right, so here's my story is actually called The Lucky Number. And this happened back in South Carolina, where I went to college. About a year after I graduated, and it was 1980, which was the year that Reagan was elected, so that's not the lucky number. And it was on a Friday, and I don't think it was Friday the 13th, because I think I would remember it. I could just sort of make that up and tell you it was, but I wouldn't lie to you. Anyway, it was on a Friday afternoon, and I get a call from Sarah. And I didn't know Sarah very well, but she was the girlfriend of my friend Jim. And Sarah said that Jim was driving from his parents' house in North Carolina to Columbia, South Carolina. And on the way, his car broke down. Just outside of Charlotte. So he took a plane to Columbia, which is only about a 20 miles away, a very short flight. And so Sarah was calling to ask me if I would take her to the airport and pick Jim up. So I said, yeah, sure. So I go to pick him up, and when we leave the airport, we decide we're going to go back to my place and hang out. So I live in like this apartment complex outside town, and on the way, about a mile before we got to my apartment, my car broke down. So that's 2 cars that broke down. So I called my friend Terry and asked her if she would come and pick us up, take us home. So she did. So she came and she and her roommate Andrea came and picked us up, took us back to my apartment. We hung out there and chatted and partied and whatever. And then later, Terry said, well, we have to go home now. So they went home, and about an hour later, she calls me and says, you won't believe this. My car broke down, right in the driveway of my building. So that's 3 cars that are broken down. You know, it's like Twilight Zone or something. So later that night, well, it was getting late, and Jim said, well, I guess we need to get back into town, but get home. I guess we'll just call a cab. I said, oh no, don't do that, you know, don't save your money. You know, my roommate Michael will be home soon. He and Ben went to see the Late Show. They should be home about an hour. He'll take you home. So, about an hour later, Michael comes in, and he says, man, my truck just broke down, right in the parking lot. So that's 4 vehicles. So, you know, it was about 2:30 in the morning. I ran out of friends that I could call. So I said, well, I guess Jim's going to have to call a cab after all. And so he calls the cab company, and he orders a car. And we're waiting. And, you know, where's that car? So he calls the cab company back up and says, I ordered a car an hour ago. Where is it? I said, it broke down. That's 5 vehicles in one night, all broken down. So they sent another car, and they got there and took them home. So I guess 6 was the lucky number. That's it.